What's up everyone, my name is Raleigh and you probably clicked on this video and are watching it now because you're very much like me and need a cup of coffee in the morning to get going, or you're a little bit addicted to coffee and you're on your third cup of coffee even though it's only 2 in the afternoon. I'm not one to judge, I hope you don't judge me either. Everyone has their vices. Now, while we're drinking all this coffee, it's probably crossed our minds that, hey, maybe I should cut back on my caffeine or coffee consumption a little bit, or at least start making more coffee from home rather than getting it from my local coffee shop or Starbucks around the corner, as it would probably be good on my bank account and my wallet. Maybe I can even turn around and invest those savings somewhere and see where it goes. That's my intention behind this video, is to answer that exact question. How much can you save over a short-term and a long-term span by making the same coffee from home rather than going to your local Starbucks or coffee shop? I think this information is great. It's a little bit eye-opening. So with that said, I'm excited to delve into this. Really quickly though, before I do, I just want to ask that if you like this video, please don't forget to like it. If you love this video and other content that I put out there, please subscribe to the channel. It helps motivate me to keep going. I love creating these videos and providing information to y'all, but it's nice to get a little bit of some extra motivation. All right, jumping right into it, I'm gonna use this coffee right here as my baseline. It's the typical coffee that I get when I go to my local coffee shop or Starbucks. It costs $3.25. It has a little bit of yummy vanilla in it, and it has some oat milk or almond milk, depending upon how I'm feeling that day. So this is what we're gonna use as our baseline in terms of cost, and we're gonna compare that to if we made that exact coffee at home using this table right here. So let's go ahead and jump into that table and really start delving into this. Alrighty, I'm not gonna focus too much on this table as it's really just details, and I instead want to spend my time talking about how much money you can save. But really quickly, here we go. This is me recreating the same coffee that I would have gotten at Starbucks at home. Here's the coffee, vanilla, and oat milk that I got from Target and the cost associated to them, as well as how many servings I would have gotten out of each of those items. And as you can see, there's the breakdown for the cost per ingredient per cup, as well as the total cost per cup for me making this exact same coffee at home. All right, so we've arrived at the real meat and potatoes of the video and why I put it together, and that's just to showcase the savings that you could have by brewing that same oat milk or almond milk vanilla coffee from home. And as you can see, on a per cup basis, you would save about $2.28, which over the span of a month, given you had a cup of coffee every day, 1 cup, that would be $69.26 of savings, or over the span of a year, $831-ish. And here's the real big kahuna, it's $8,311-ish over the span of 10 years of pure savings just by brewing that same cup of coffee from home rather than getting it from Starbucks or your local coffee shop. So that's quite a bit. Honestly, that's a used car, a good used car, or that's quite frankly a pretty extended trip in Europe. And I mean that. You can find flights to Paris, for example, for like $600 round trip with bags, and you can get a long-term Airbnb in Paris for like $1,200. So that's an extended vacation in an expensive city such as Paris. So might be worth it, to start cutting back on your costs just because you can save this much money over a few years, right? So now that we've talked about just the pure savings, I want to spin this on its head and proceed on to talking about if you instead invested this money rather than just taking it as pure savings. So let's talk about that next. So in order to look at this as an investment, we're going to run it through this little calculator here, starting with $0 and putting in $69.26 every month. That's how much money we're saving by making our coffee at home every month, right? And we're going to do that for the next 10 years at a rate of return of about 10%. I'm using 10% as the rate of return because that's the historical average rate of return for the S&P 500 throughout history, meaning you could blindly dump your money into the S&P 500 and every year on average you would get a 10% return. Once we calculate that out, we get a nice little graph here showing how much money or wealth you're creating by investing it versus saving. So in comparison, it's about $13,300-ish in comparison to $8,300-ish for savings. So you're generating about an additional $5,000 worth of wealth, which is displayed a little bit more nicely in this table here, specifically that breaks it down by year. So every year it shows the disparity between how much money you generate by investing versus saving. And again, you're generating an additional about $5,000 worth of wealth just by investing your money into a standard S&P fund. And this is again just purely the money you save by making your coffee at home rather than going to your local coffee shop or Starbucks in order to enjoy a coffee. So that's it, folks. That's how much money you would save on a per cup, per week, per month, per year, over 10 years if you made your coffee at home rather than going to your local coffee shop or Starbucks for that cup of coffee. So for me personally, saving about $8,000 does seem like quite a bit, and so I have reduced the amount of times I go out for a cup of coffee. I still like to support my local coffee shops, but I also like to support my own personal wallet. So that's why, I have cut back a little bit and started making more coffee at home. And when I look at it from purely an investment standpoint, right, generating about $13,000 worth of wealth just by dumping the money I save from coffee into a simple S&P 500 fund, that's quite a bit. Now, like I said, I'm not planning on cutting back entirely. Sometimes it's too convenient and too tasty to get my coffee from somewhere rather than making it myself, but it does make me pause and think for a second. But like I said, I also like to think about my wallet and my bank account and stuff like that. So that's all the information I have for you guys. It's up to you to decide what to do with it. I'm just here to present some information. If you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you really like this video and other videos I've created, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. It helps keep me motivated to make videos like this. With that said, enjoy your coffee. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And regardless of if that coffee is a coffee that you got from somewhere or you're starting to make it from home, I really hope you have a wonderful cup of coffee. See y'all.